So this is the first Sunday of our students on campus, and I love this. I love the beginning of the year. I love the start of everything. I love the start of just beginning, start of the new year, start of a new season. I love the start of a new semester, new projects. In fact, over Christmas break, I got to spend some time with my family over Christmas itself, and my siblings and I, my dad, were talking about the things we used to do that were fun. We used to do kind of challenges with each other. We used to do races with each other. We used to do marathons and triathlons and all those kind of things. In fact, we were talking about my sister and my dad and I once did a 300 plus mile cross country ski race up in Alaska, and I was doing the math and I was like, oh my gosh, Dad, I am now your age that you were then, when you did that race. I'm now that age. It's just crazy to think. And so we started talking about all the new stuff we wanted to start, right? The new projects, the new challenges, the new things we just wanted to do, because I think there's something in us in the beginning, right? You want to do something big. Our students are back here, right? They're back on campus, and now it's time to start. And one of the questions I want to ask our students is this kind of maybe this basic, maybe it's an annoying question, but it's the question what are you here for? You came back, they all came back for the semester. What are you here for? What are you in Duluth to do? And you can ask the same question about yourself. Why? What are you where you're at? What are you there to do? And for our students, they can say, well, I'm here to get a degree, or maybe they got a sports scholarship. I'm here to play sports. Maybe it's because these are the hoops I have to jump through in order to get where I want to go. It could be that I'm here to get trained. It could be that I'm here to get graduate, and here because I need to be here to get the job. And even if that's the case, I'm just here so I can get there. I don't think that's totally bad. I mean, the reality, of course, is there are always steps when you're moving. So if you're going through steps to get somewhere else, I'm only here so I can get there. Again, could be better, but definitely could be worse because you're taking steps. And I love that. I love the notion of again, these two things, having a goal, right? This is what I want. And having a plan. This is how I'm going to do it. Because every one of us is called to live like that. When it comes to starting, it's so good because it reminds us that we're called to live on purpose. In fact, it reminds us that we're made for a purpose. We're actually, who would say this? We're made on purpose. So at the start of the semester, we're starting a new series, and that series is very simple. It's just simply called On Purpose. Because the best way to live, in fact, the only two ways we could live is we could either live on purpose or we could live off purpose. And so as we start this semester, as we restart this new year, I have the question. If you're going to live on purpose, what is the goal? What's the goal for this new season? What's the goal for this new semester? What's the goal for this new year? What is the goal for your life? And I would humbly submit, this should be your goal. This is what I think should be your goal. I think your goal to live on purpose, your goal should be to be great. That this is what I want for you. What I want for you is I want you to be able to say, I want to be great. And of course, we often shy away from that, right? We shy away from because it's scary to either try after that or even to say that out loud. It's scary. I want to be great. It's scary. It's risky. Also, I think sometimes we think, well, it's kind of a little bit cocky, isn't it? It's kind of arrogant. I want to be great. Doesn't seem very Christian. Doesn't seem very humble. And I think if we say that, it's because we misunderstand what I mean by being great. Because I think sometimes we think that being great is something else. I'll clarify. Being great is not being better than someone else. I'm just going to say it right now. In my definition of great, being great is not being better than someone else. Being great is not being known. Being great is not being famous. Being great is not being important. I like when people come to me. I like when they think about me. No, being great is not being powerful. Being great is not being wealthy. Because every one of those metrics, those are ultimately comparative. Right? Because it's not just about having power or being known. It's about being more known, right? It's about being more famous. It's about being more important. It's about being more wealthy, about being more powerful. I would say this. I would say to actually be great, the most simple expression is to be able to say in truth, just simply, I'm good at what I do. Like that. That's what I think sums up so clearly, also very, very simply, what it is to be great. Whatever it is, to be able to say, I'm good at what I do. Because that's excellence. And so you realize this, that this can be done, or at least this could be pursued, no matter your job, no matter your state in life, no matter where you are. I have a cousin who works in one of the western suburbs down in the Twin Cities. And he works for the city down there. And so that means that part of his job is he takes care of the parks, he takes care of the roads, and he takes care of the sewers. And he spends a lot of time in the sewers. And he said this before. He said that, people will sometimes look down on his job. Sometimes people will say, are you kidding? Like, you spent all this time in the sewers, and they just kind of can sometimes be tempted to think less of him or less of his job because of what he does. And he says, yeah, but he always makes a joke. He says, yeah, people look down on my job. They think my job isn't important until the moment their toilets stop working. He said, the moment their toilets stop working, I have the most important job in the entire world, which is completely true. I mean, many times, literally, my cousin is the one person who stands between civilization and indoor plumbing and chaos and chamber pots. Like, he's the one, and he works in the sewers, and he does it really well. He is good at his job, which means what? That means that when it comes to his job, he is great. Of course, he's not just his job, and you're not just your job. He's also a husband, he's a father, he's a son, he's a brother, he's a cousin, he's a friend, he's a Catholic. And every one of us, we're called to be great in all those areas. I think it was, at least it's quote attributed to Abraham Lincoln, who said, whatever you are, be a good one. So you're a plumber, whatever you are, be a good one. Your mom, whatever you are, be a good one. You're a student, whatever you are, be a good one. The first reading today is from Isaiah. And Isaiah, what is he? He's a prophet. And what do prophets do? That what he is a prophet. And what he does is a prophet is someone who speaks God's words that people need to hear. And as long as Isaiah does that, he's great. I'll tell you this, Isaiah is good at his job. The second reading today is from 1 Corinthians. And in it, St. Paul is writing about all these gifts, all these opportunities, all these roles. He says, some people have been given expression of wisdom, some people expression of understanding, some people are given mighty deeds or miracles of faith or discernment of spirits or speaking in tongues, all of those things. And St. Paul highlights the fact that if you're given any of these gifts or roles or opportunities, then you need to start using them. You've been given this role, you need to get going. And here's the reality, that the truth of the matter is, here we are, my brothers and sisters in Christ. Every person, every one of us has been given some gift or some role or some opportunity, which that means we've been made on purpose and we've been made for a purpose. And that means we need to start. We need to get going. And not only do we need to get going, we need to keep going. Yes, today is January 19th. I don't know if you know about this, but 9 days ago, it was the second Friday in January. If you know anything about the second Friday in January, that second Friday in January, 9 days ago, is affectionately known as Quitter's Day. Because on 1st of January, right, on January 1, people all have plans. They all have dreams. They all have goals. They have, here's what I'm going to do. Here's how I'm going to get there. And they have these New Year's resolutions. And it turns out that by the second Friday in January, most people actually quit. It's called Quitter's Day. In fact, Strava, they measure people's fitness. They say 80% of people who have a New Year's resolution stop by the second Friday in January. Baylor University did more studies, and they found out that almost 90% of people who have a New Year's resolution on January 1st, who have a plan, they have a goal, and they get going, they stop going by the end of January. And think about this. These are all people with goals. Right? These are all people with plans, right? They know what they want to do. They know how they're going to do it. Like, I want to run a half marathon. That's what I want to do. Here's my training plan. It's how I'm going to do it. And they quit. How come? Well, I think one of the answers is, you have your what, my goal. You have your how. Here's my plan. But you don't have a why. I don't I've been made on purpose. I don't know what that purpose is. I want to do this stuff. I want to do this thing, but I don't know why. So why have opportunities? Why would God give us a role? Or why would he give us a gift? Or even the question, why be great? I think it's fascinating. Isaiah had a what, right? He's a prophet. And Isaiah also had a why. Man, his what is to be a prophet, to speak God's words, people that need to hear God's words. And it's fascinating. Isaiah, a major prophet, he did this. He spoke God's word. He was a prophet. He did that what? From somewhere between 40 and 60 years of his life. That kings came and went, he lived under 5 generations of kings. And he faced opposition, he faced ridicule, he faced a threat of death. But he kept walking. Ultimately, rabbinic tradition says that 5th king, Manasseh, had Isaiah sawed in half. I mean, this is someone who knew his what, he knew how he was going to do it, and he continued to speak, and he continued to walk, and he continued to work in the face of opposition, and he could only do that because he had a why. And his why is this. It's actually in the first reading today. It's the very first phrase in Isaiah 62, where he's basically saying, I can't be quiet, I can't be silent. Why? He says, for Jerusalem's sake, I will not be quiet. For Zion's sake, I will not be silent. The reason why is for them. So Isaiah had his what, right? He had his what? I'm supposed to preach God's words to people who need to hear his word. And my why is because I love God and I love people. This is the only reason God gave me this role is for them. God didn't give me this role for me. This is the question for all of us. Why has God given you the opportunity you have, or the role you have, or the gifts you have? 1 Corinthians says it really, really clearly. It says, to each manifestation of the Spirit has been given for some benefit. So I've been given the gift of healing or prophecy or whatever the thing is, not for myself, but to help the people around me. You've been given your opportunity or your role or your gift, not for yourself, but to help the people around you. Why does Jesus in the gospel today, why does he change water into wine? It's not because he wanted to show off. It's because, I don't know, maybe he wanted to help this couple. Maybe it's because his mom asked him to and he wanted to help her. Maybe it's because this was the first of his signs in Cana in Galilee. And so he revealed his glory, which means he revealed his Father's glory. He didn't do this for himself. He did it because he was asked to do it. Especially by his mom. I remember when I was a kid, my mom, I remember she said, just offhandedly, but I remember she said, you know what? I don't care what you kids do when you grow up. I don't care if you make money or don't make money. All that matters to me, she said, all that matters to me is that you help people. Because this is the reality of life. Every one of us is made on purpose, and every one of us has been given a role, an opportunity, or a gift. What is that gift for? It's not for ourselves. It's so someone else can be blessed. And that's this great joy. The great joy is to be able to be good at what you do because you've been made on purpose. Mark Twain once said, the 2 most important days in a person's life is the day he's born and the day he finds out why. I want you to find out why. You are made to be great. Find out why. So for the next 3 weeks, that's what we're going to do. We're going to try to find out why. You've been made on purpose. Okay, how do I do that? How do I find out why? How do I hear God's voice? How do I discern the call of God in my life? And the reality, of course, is the next 3 weeks, the next 3 years, the next lifetime, it might be difficult. You might strive and struggle and fail. But in this, you find joy. Because you know that you've been made on purpose. And that you're alive right now and right here for a purpose. You're alive right now. You are alive right now in this time. You're alive right here in this place because you've been made on purpose. And even if it's a struggle, and even if it's murky at times and it's lonely at times, you can trust God for that purpose because he knows. This is the last thing. There was a man, his name is John Henry Cardinal Newman. He's St. John Henry Newman. And this is a man who, he had a lot of chaos in his life. He was an Anglican priest until he was 40 or so. And then he became a Catholic priest. And even in that conversion to be a Catholic priest and ultimately a cardinal, there was confusion because he wanted to do great things for God. God had given him role and opportunity and gifts. And sometimes it was really hard to be able to trust God. So he had this prayer that's just a declaration of trust that you have been made on purpose. You've been made to be great. So this is your prayer. This is the prayer that you can pray on a regular basis. And it goes like this. It's a statement of faith. God has created me to do him some definitive service. He has committed some work to me which he has not committed to another. I have my mission. I may never know it in this life, but I shall be told it in the next. I am a link of the chain, a bond of connection between persons. God has not created me for nothing. I shall do good. I shall do his work. I shall be an angel of peace, a preacher of truth at my own place, while not intending it, if I do but keep his commandments. Therefore, I will trust in him. Whatever I am, I can never be thrown away. If I'm in sickness, my sickness may serve him. In my perplexity may serve him. If I'm in sorrow, my sorrow may serve him. He does nothing in vain. He knows what he is about. He may take away my friends. He may throw me among strangers. He may make me feel desolate, make my spirits sink, hide my future from me. And still, he knows what he is about.